So when we get to a level of the Word that becomes flesh, we get to a level of divine communication where what we seek to create and manifest and experience from others is communicated with them beyond physical sound. That's like somebody come up to you and they get a message. They feel a certain energy from you. You got people that look alike, but when you experience them, different words are communicated to your psyche. That's a fact. What is that about? So my point is that word was not a sound. It was a conscious symbol. And it was the beginning of the movement of thought. That's a fact. So we have to move our thoughts in the form of creation to manifest what we desire. We can't just speak it at this level of language. And when you go beyond a certain level of language, then the stuff of our ancient ancestors begin to make sense to us. Not off us being able to read books by what our historians have written, but we're going to the unutterable aspect of sound. We're going beyond utterances, and we have an immediate realization of what things mean. I'm going deep now. You don't have to break down the hieroglyphs to understand and see and have what those symbols mean to resonate to you. When you get to a certain level of consciousness where you awaken, what they mean will make sense to you. You will know what was meant. That's a fact. You can look at them same symbols and know on the inner level. But if you trust the white man's language and in your mind, I'm about to go heavy now, that's blocking you from a direct knowing of the things that you see. Because he calls it a grass doesn't change the nature from what is seen. A squirrel don't speak no language, but they know what a nut is. And if that squirrel had to communicate what a nut is, it would distract it from dinner. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's a fact. It would immediately it would slow down its process of its direct realization of the reality of things. So we begin to think that words have something to do with the reality of things. Our self and our inner knowingness is aware of the reality of things. And sometimes the words, even within inside of us, distract us from directly experiencing the reality of things. So when you go into meditation and still your mind, you also go into a perceptive state where you can look directly into the reality of things. Ain't that heavy? Some people looking around, they see these concepts. They see these ideologies and these overlays that the white man has given them. And some people go and look at reality and they directly have a direct, constant experience of truth. People are at a level of belief, not just Christians. A lot of people are operating at a level of what they believe to be true. They're living in a fairy tale because they have no immediate perceptiveness of truth. And I'm going to go heavy with this just to show y'all in regular experiences. Just as the fact that somebody says, well, they feel that they can be lied to by what another person's utters words. But if you actually live in the perceptiveness of truth, you cannot be lied to. Because your higher perceptive ability should be your source of truth. Y'all hear what I'm saying? So if you are on a higher perceptive level, then you are in constant communication with all that is really true. Period. So you're not looking to trust. You're not looking to believe. You are experiencing constant knowing. Now, for many, there are certain ideologies and concepts between them and the truth. Jesus Christ is between them and the present reality. The Prophet Muhammad is between them and what reality? Even the Buddha. Many things are between them and present reality. So they have no direct experience for themselves of truth at all. The white man and what he says is between them and truth. That's a fact. So when they become enlightened, they empty their mind of everything that is distracting them from being able to deal with the truth. That's like somebody asking you for the truth. But as soon as you start talking, they leave. And come back and say, you lied to me. You didn't tell me the whole story. Because they were not at a level of perceptiveness to even handle the truth. I've tried to communicate high concepts to people. But I've experienced in interaction with them, they such at a level of closed-mindedness, my words get jumbled up. I'm an eloquent speaker, very articulate, have read the entire dictionary. So if I know I'm trying to communicate to somebody and it's not coming out, they have a mental block. Do you follow what I'm saying? That's just like talking to a Christian, but you can communicate high concepts to them, but they ain't even trying to hear it, even if they have a grasp on the English language. If it ain't coming from biblical scriptures, they can't even hear what you're talking about, like you're not speaking English. Because they have a mental block on their mind. So even if they wanted the truth, they cannot receive it. Because they are not open to experiencing the truth. And those who are closed-minded to actually experiencing the truth as it is happening will have no power. Because power comes from the experience of truth. There is no power in a state of delusionment. If you try to use some scissors to cut a tree, they will not work. You need the power of truth of using the axe. You follow what I'm saying? So by having a direct experience of truth, you can utilize and understand everything in its true nature to do anything that is real. Without that understanding of truth, there is no power in anything. Because you know it not for what it truly is. That's a fact. So when we're walking people out of the states of religiosity and consciousness, we're trying to walk them into a true level of power. They want to be healed, but there is real healing in truth. They want to build a nation, but you can only build a true nation. You cannot build an ideological one. And to build a true nation, you must be open and willing to go through the real and actual experiences of what it takes to build that. And in that, you must go through a sacrifice of disillusionment. That's a fact. Because you are ready to embark upon a real path to do something. To manifest something. And by nature of you knowing that you're going to embark upon it, you know that it's something different from where you've been. And you know you must go through something you have not been through to go there. Or if you don't, you're in the same place. You follow what I'm saying? If you're walking and you keep seeing the same scenery, you're going to know you're walking in a circle. So unless you come into different conflicts, different confrontations, different complexities of thoughts, different type of interactions, then you are not growing. You're not growing anywhere. If you don't arrive at new questions given to you by new circumstances. Y'all follow what I'm saying? You're not going anywhere. So we cannot nation build off anybody's ideology. Because if we look at all of the ideologies, we will find no nation. But we will find ourselves doing and repeating the same things that they have done. That's a fact. So if we lean too much to the ideology and not lean to our pure devotion to be moved into true nationalism and true black divinity, we find ourselves not arriving. But when we understand the nature of devotion and sincerity and sincere approach, when we understand that truth only reveals itself to those who approach things sincerely. Am I correct? If you approach something in your most sincere state, everything that is true about it will reveal itself to you. If you approach something from your ideological constructs of the past, then what you see is clouded by what you think should be. And what you think should be is what you have been thinking should be, which is where you have been, where you have been. But if you want to go somewhere else, you got to think something different. And how do you think something different when all your thoughts have been given to you by that which was meant to suppress you? You become open-minded. And how do you open your mind? Emptying it by everything that's blocking it from you being aware of experiencing what is true for your evolution. That's a fact. There's no way nothing or anybody can get around that. The mind must open. But you know what? You will attract yourself to places and experiences and people of where your mind should be opened. That's how you ended up there among them. They didn't use chains and shackles to get you to them. They used low-powered cameras. The limited amount of technology. They have no budget. So what got you to them? Your own conscious journey on your path to find out and evolve into some level of truth. So since your consciousness got you there, you must begin to ask yourself, why are you there? Why have your consciousness brought you there? And what should you be open to from where you have been attracted to? Or are you telling me that it's not something wherever you go for you? That you can end up somewhere that there's not something for you. Right. And you can't have me believe that.
Right. That's consciousness, being aware.
So your consciousness attracts you to somewhere that has some aspect or some part of your own evolutionary process. That's why it piqued your curiosity, and that's why you ended up there, because there are billions and thousands of places that you could have been at. But none of them got you. Because your mind, nothing was necessary for your own evolutionary process. That's what we have to realize. So we come to a point where we no longer resist our process. And we're open to our own becoming because we set it forth. And it's nothing that can manifest outside of your consciousness. We forget it often. We forget that very often, that there's any scenario or situation that can manifest outside of your consciousness. And if you think so, you are outside of your own consciousness looking in. And when you're in the moments where you think something is happening outside of your consciousness, you are outside of being conscious. And when you get back inside your consciousness, you will start to existentially move and manipulate those circumstances to manifest the divine reality of which you have outpictured. That's a fact. That's a fact. So our thing here is remaining in that consciousness. And you know what? The consciousness gets stronger. It gets stronger. The child walks a little bit, then it stands up. It eats baby food, then it can start chewing an apple. So our minds are developing along the same process in our consciousness. The more we stay conscious on a thing, the stronger we become conscious of it. I've been a vegetarian now for over 12 years. And the longer I've been one, the stronger my consciousness have been to the point I can't even tolerate meat anymore. So imagine getting to a level of black consciousness where you can't even tolerate black devilishment no more. You can't even tolerate ignorance anymore. You can't tolerate limitation and fear anymore. You can't tolerate white supremacy no more. You don't have the stomach for it anymore. Well, your mind is your stomach. And your intestinal lining is made of the same substance that your brain is made out of. So you got to build up your brain and mental muscle tissue where you can't stomach white supremacy no more. And that's a process of conscious development. But the longer we stay conscious, the longer we develop those muscles. And you know what? Once the mind expands, it can never go back. Once your mind opens up, you can't be closed-minded again. When I found out and became aware that my thoughts create my reality, it's hard for me to go back to sleep. Because I know my thinking is creating. I don't dream when you start becoming a conscious creator, when you go to sleep at night, you actually stop dreaming. Because a dream is an unconscious action. A lot of times based on fear. Y'all know what I'm saying. It's an unconscious process. So when you become conscious, your involuntary and unconscious process stops.